don't know if you remember me, but
Yeah, Walker, I remember you always.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that my question is going to be the first.
Oh, no, just
no,
introduce
just
you,
introduction.
who you are.
Introduction. Oh, I'm sorry. Liliana Muñiz, publisher of Fama Magazine.
Javier Mota with Citizen Radio and about that song.
Simon Gomez with MSN Latino.
Carlos Latour, Zone Manager Chevrolet in Florida.
Josh Weimer, District Sales Manager, Chevrolet, Miami.
Marisa Velko, Manager After Sales for Miami and the
Pete Bird, District Sales Manager, Buick GMC, Miami.
Bill Benson, District Sales Manager, Cadillac, South Florida.
Good morning, John Martin, the Cadillac Zone Manager for Florida.
Good morning, I'm Greg Ross. I'm the Zone Manager for Buick GMC in Florida.
Trey Williamson, President, Williamson Cadillac Buick GMC, and son of Ed and Carol.
Lou Rivera, Vera Cadillac Buick GMC, dealer operator, and second son of Ed and Carol.
Well, I am not the daughter. However, I'm Ashley Bobo. I work with the GM Southeast Region Communications team.
Hi, I'm Leslie Hettinger. I also work on the Southeast Region for GM.
congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
That's perfect.
Melissa Galarza, I also work with the GM Southeast Communications team.
Karen Blanco, Mercado Dinero Uso.
Eduardo Japke, editor of Target Magazine.
Marcelo Salvador, President of Prestige Auto, and we manage the President. Thank you.
The beautiful cars out there.
Yes. Very nice, yeah.
Jose Delfino, Automundo, Florida.
Yes.
Good morning, Mark. Bill Adam. I'm with ESPN and ABC Sports Television.
All right.
I'm Mark Elias with LeftLaneNews.com.
I'm Terry Radigan with GM Communications.
Great.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, everybody. And what I thought we'd do is just give a little, we just had a major week last week where we obviously closed our quarter, we closed our month, and now we get ready to continue our launch cadence of lots of different cars and trucks over the next 18 months. So business, if you looked at, we got a little bit of credit here as well, as you saw prior to the election. And then we had the election last night. Congratulations to Barack Obama for his victory. So, you know, very, very exciting last couple of days here too from a presidential race standpoint. And so what I thought I'd do is give you just a little bit of overview on the business. You saw some of the commentary in terms of North America, in terms of our earnings, and then how it contributed to the overall earnings. So North America is very healthy. We've got some momentum coming off of last month. Horrific storms, obviously, on the East Coast. So lots of challenges for us delivery-wise, but you know, more importantly, we're sending vehicles into the area with money to help rebuild it. So that's really where our focus was. And you know, we closed the month without a lot of power in New Jersey, a lot of dealerships. So we're helping those dealers and those families recover here the best we can. Hopefully the next storm that we see coming in there is not something that will rewrite any history here, but you never know. So very, very sad for everybody. But the business in North America continues to be very strong, even with what we see as the oldest portfolio in the industry that we're selling right now. We have the highest average transaction prices, and we are running about fourth in incentives here, so fourth from the top. So our business has never run this low an incentive rate in the industry, and our residuals reflect that. Our ALG Guidebook Trust reflects that. Our discipline in manufacturing and supply and demand, as we turn to a true turn and earn system instead of a push system, has reflected that. So all of those things on a business indicator standpoint, I could show you a chart that shows you residual values and the closing of the gap over the last 3 years. So we're very proud of that. And now, if you look at our dealerships and the network that we put in place, we believe we will once again have the best dealer network with the most modern facilities completed here over the next 18 months with the best operators and the best locations. So a lot of focus on customer service and that experience. We've invested a lot of money and time, and some of the people in here are field staff, which we believe, again, is going to be the best, if not is the best in the industry right now. with enabling our dealerships with the best customer experience. So you'll hear me talk a little bit about that today, but it doesn't happen and it doesn't matter unless we've got great cars and trucks to sell. And the arsenal that we have loaded here, we'll talk about again a little bit in my speech, but we are ready, and we've begun the transition right now with the ATS and the XTS from Cadillac, and we will continue that momentum of launch over the next 18 months. So a lot of challenges for us, probably the biggest turn in the portfolio that we've ever had in the company, at least since I've been there. So it's very exciting as well. So again, we have the oldest portfolio in the industry, but we're going to have one of the newest here when we finish. So very exciting time for us. So with that, I'll open it up for some Q&A. That was sort of a business overview of what we completed here. Fourth quarter wise, we had a decent month in North America. Had a really good month in Mexico. Mexico is really coming on strong for us under Ernesto Hernandez. Canada, we have some momentum that we're gaining share again in Canada after we had to build residuals and lease. So we're ready to go in Canada too. So we're beginning to fire on all cylinders post bankruptcy in all 3 countries in North America. So just open up for Q&A.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Talking about Mexico and Canada, how the free trade agreement has helped not only GM but all the auto industry, and also the manufacturing in Mexico, which is now, I believe, number 4 in the world.
Yeah.
How that has helped GM and the other?
Well, we were one of the original investors with our Mexican operations, and so we continue to fill that operation. We've expanded a little bit over the last few years in SLP, St. Louis, and so that plant we're beginning to fill too. But we've had very strong production there, very strong engine production there. We make the Volt drivetrain in Mexico as well. So we've got some really high-tech parts of that. The thing we haven't done probably as good a job as we can, and we're now focusing on, is building a supply base in Mexico for those operations. So we can do a much better job of building and selling with a supply base in Mexico, and so we're beginning to develop that right now. So that'll be sort of the next part of that business model that we want to really go after. But it's very important to us. We make and sell a lot of vehicles in Mexico, and that economy. You look at the economy even through the presidential election. That economy has been stable. The peso has been stable. And I think it's being reflected in some of the investment we see other OEMs putting in there as well. So I think good things. And I think anything that's been said about some of the problems of some of the current safety, I think has gotten much better over the last 3 years as well. So a lot of credit to the outgoing president for stabilizing that and working hard on it. There's a lot of work to do everywhere, but I think some good things happening. Thank you.
The next following 18 months, it was very important for the company. And I believe in the next year, 2013, the company will launch between 20 and 22 new models. Could you talk about that?
Sure. And I'll show you some of them today, but there'll be 13 for Chevrolet. There'll be the new Encore for Buick. There'll be the new Regal for Buick. There'll be the new LaCrosse for Buick. And there's a new Enclave coming into the market right now. So Buick's got a lot. And then we've got the Turbo Murano launching right now as well. So Buick has lots of things there happening. The Acadia for GMC in the same channel is happening right now. And then we get the new Yukon and the Yukon XLS. And then all the new Sierras arrive next year as well. So between GMC and Buick, that's going to be a very powerful channel. Here, 11% sales increase in Buick year over year, and we continue to gain share. And it is our biggest conquest brand in GM right now. We're running about 50% conquest on every new model we put. The Encore, we know the Buick or the dealer reception to the first order fulfillment of Encore was spectacular. Like 4 times is what we thought it would be. So that's very exciting as well. It's a place where we really don't play in General Motors with that size of vehicle. And then Cadillac, the cadence continues. We'll have ATS in volume with the 2-liter turbo, which we haven't had quite yet. So that comes online right now. The XTS we have in volume. right now pretty much, so we're getting to hit stride with that. There'll be another engine variant of XDS that'll come next year as well, which will be very fun for a lot of people. We'll have the ELR at the end of next year as well. We'll show that, which is the Voltec drivetrain with a coupe, with a really beautiful car. It's actually more attractive than the concept car we showed, if you remember that. The real version is better on the interior for sure, and equally beautiful on the exterior. And then we have CTS for Cadillac next year too. Major launch for that. So the new CTS hits next year as well. And then you look at Chevrolet. We're just now launching Spark, very successful for us. Sonic RS, which has been very successful for us. And then you'll see the Malibu 2.5 liter coming in volume right now, which you're starting to see, and then the turbo model of that. After that, and then you'll see the new Impala for Chevrolet as well. And then you'll see something happen that's a nice update Camaro-wise. And then you'll see the new Corvette, which ain't all bad. And then you see all the new Chevrolet trucks, and then you'll see the Suburban and Tahoe for the utilities. And then you'll see a mid-size truck variant come into the market after we finish those truck models. So Chevrolet has launches well into 14 and beyond. So and by the time we're getting close to being done with that, the oldest car in the Chevrolet showroom will be the Cruze. Think about that, which is pretty remarkable. Yeah, the Escalade will be in the latter part of the utility rollout with Chevrolet and GMC. So Chevrolet, GMC, and Cadillac in the utility, the Escalade. Yeah. So, am I missing anything? Don't think I am. I think that
answered all our questions.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot.
I have one regarding well, two different
Cruise
questions.
Diesel. I did miss the Cruise
Diesel.
Wow.
Cruise Diesel. You being if you were king, and you're kind of like there.
I'm not really there.
Well, but pretty close. No. Where would you like to see the Volt go?
I think it's not if I was king, but as an engineer, I would love to someday see a Volt running on a CNG powered engine that would be fueled either by electricity or compressed natural gas at home. That would be fabulous to me. And have a dedicated architecture that was really lightweight in the future.
How about body design?
The body design, I think, is a reflection of the mass that the car carries, because you have to, the more mass you have in the car, the bigger the battery pack has to be, and therefore you're forced into a T configuration. So the reason why I said, if I really, as an engineer, wanted to see where that car would really go, you take the mass out of it, you take the battery size down, and you would open yourself into other configurations of seating that may be a more attractive formula for a greater amount of people.
Have you forwarded those suggestions?
I did. I didn't email them, but I've talked about those. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second question. Thank you. Corvette. It's kind of gotten a little hairy right now, and it needs to get relevance back with younger buyers.
Yes, it does.
It's like in a lot of cases, it's the last car that some of your current buyers will buy. The next version.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at how long we've run these cars on a generational basis because of financial distress in the company. It's been way too long.
Okay. So wait until December or January?
I think you need to wait until January, and I think you'll be pretty impressed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Mark, while we're on the performance idea, your history has shown a strong affinity or love affair with performance cars. Thank God, because I'm right there with you. How much of a challenge is that to present to your accounting staff who are trying to take care of every penny, every nickel, and so on? The challenge of having something like the CTS-V, which Ed knows, one of my favorite cars in the world. I just
me too.
Have a huge love for that car. How challenging is that? But how important is the performance image for both keeping engineering alive and well, and just the internal pride of building something like that?
I think you hit on all the reasons that are really, really important, and they are important. Number one is, when prior to any of my colleagues today in the company, you know, it was extremely hard to pay for things like CTSVs in a time when the company is clearly headed towards bankruptcy. But yet we did that, and we did that because if you look beyond bankruptcy and you say that, you know, we've built some equity in Cadillac, although it's not near to what, you know, we want it to be on a global brand basis. If you don't do credible cars in a performance arena and race them, then you really don't have the credibility to make those inroads over a long period of time. And so either you're in the game or you're not. And so those type of discussions become very passionate for me because I've been in the company a long time, and any time someone says that we're going to do something sort of in between as a bridge or something like that, we do a timeout and say, are we in this or are we not? And so I think the current leadership in General Motors very much backs that thinking. And so it becomes a very exciting conversation around what we can do and what we should do, which is very different than the way it was in a distressed company. So I think that, you know, the thing that we have to move beyond is, I think, the sophistication of both drivetrain, chassis, everything that we do from a technology standpoint in Cadillac has got to be not necessarily shared, but the best. And so that's very different as well. I mean, you look at some of the shared applications, as good as some of the V-Series are, some of those were hard to do because you're taking a car that is inherently has mass and heft to it, and trying to make it feel like a car that doesn't. And we did that pretty well with the Vs.
You did.
But we have an architecture now with Alpha that enables us to do everything and beyond our competition. And so I think you need to look at the way we did those Vs and think about what we can do now that we have an architecture we invested in. And it's pretty exciting, very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My question?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Fama Magazine, you know, we've been an amazing partner of General Motors. And I bring a question just to support the company. I see GM is doing a great job with the minorities, one of the leading companies doing charities with minority group. I see GM doing, you know, an amazing job with advertising with the Hispanic publication. But I see the GM kind of, you know, need to input more into the PR department with the minorities. No, I don't say minority, but with the Hispanic market.
Yeah.
And I say that because I'm in the internet all the time and receiving email from competitors, and I see how other companies are handling the promoting. You have an amazing launching of new products. All the expectation, you know, you put it together. How you're going to get the voice of all these products through media like us and other media to receive all those news in our language, in Spanish, and how you're doing with your leader, you know, how you're hiring Hispanic in the PR side of your company so we can have someone very close to work for, you know, in order for us to help you more. I believe this is very important for General Motors to achieve, like everybody get the news that is a new launching of a Cadillac model, there is a new launching of a Chevy model. So we need that partnership, you know, stronger, that partnership even in social media. But now, you know, media are facing a big challenge, you know, and we need to get more close, Joe. So I feel there is a emptiness, you know, is my opinion, no? In that, and I see that because I receive news from other competitors. And I believe, you know, if you get stronger that part, you will get more from us as a media.
I think you're absolutely right. We've only scratched the surface. We began a partnership with Univision, and we have begun to harvest some of that partnership, but there is so much more to do. I was reading today just in some of the statistics in the Wall Street Journal on like how we voted and how the demographics of what used to be the minority population is now the majority. And one of the reasons why they said Mitt Romney did not win is he did not embrace what are now becoming the majority, you know, close to majority populations in some of the big, what used to be high concentration minority groups is now becoming mainstream, opinion forming, all of that, right? And so that's the opportunity to really introduce, I guess, our 4 brands to